Welcome to the Godforge Gearing Guide, where I'm going to teach you how to gear like a god. Let's get into it. The number one rule of gearing is don't force gear sets. Always prioritize the stats on a piece of gear above all else. Then, if you happen to find pieces that work for your build and they happen to be of the same set, that's just a bonus. The second rule of gearing is rank over rarity. Don't choose one piece over another just because it's a higher rarity. Oftentimes, a lower rarity piece that is a higher rank will add way more value to your hero's overall build. I'm not going to go into the ideal substats for each hero archetype, so for rule number 3, always be looking for speed and initiative in the substats for your gear, and for damage dealers, crit rate is also a premium. Every hero you build in Godforge is going to want speed and initiative. Speed is the metric that determines how quickly you fill your turn meter, and initiative is the metric that determines how quickly you fill your ultimate meter. Speed can be found on boots and leg armor, while initiative can be found on boots and helmets. You will want speed and initiative as the main stat on at least one of your gear slots. My recommendation is initiative on the boots and speed on the leg armor. This is going to be my recommendation for every hero. It's the other 4 slots that are going to vary depending on what you want to achieve with the individual hero. First, let's talk about Disruptors. Disruptors are the debuffers and crowd control heroes in Godforge. If you're building a disruptor who has a powerful debuff or disable in their kit, you'll want to make sure that they have enough accuracy to land them. After you find initiative boots and speed on the legs, the 2 gear slots that can have accuracy as main stats are gloves and helmets. I would recommend at the very least you go for accuracy on the helm. If you find your debuffs and disables are still getting resisted, you can go for accuracy on the gloves as well. Additionally, some weapons can have accuracy as their primary stat. If you find that you can get enough accuracy into your builds that you don't need it on your gloves and helmet, you can always take accuracy on your gloves and initiative on your helmet for more ultimate gains. Or you can go initiative on your helmet and speed on both your legs and boots. It just depends on if you value more turns or if you value more ultimates from that particular hero. You're going to have to make that judgment call for yourself. Disruptors are not meant to be damage dealers, however, they will have damage scaling off their attack. If you wish to get more damage out of them, and you decided to go for crit rate on the gloves, you can go for attack percentage on the chest. If you went for accuracy on the gloves, you may as well try to find HP percentage or defense percentage on the chest. HP is preferable, and you could use set bonuses and substats as the tiebreaker if you can't decide which to go for between HP and defense. But I personally prefer HP if I could find it on a good one. Finally, we have the shoulder slot. If you went attack on the chest and crit rate on the gloves, you can consider going for crit damage on the shoulders. However, if you went the safe route and chose to go for accuracy on the gloves and HP or defense on the chest, you should look for HP or defense on the shoulders as well. This will help ensure they stay alive long enough to do their job, which is landing debuffs and disables. Next, let's talk about Slayers, the ultimate damage dealers. These fearsome fighters are the premier damage dealers in Godforge. Their job is to kill everything. How you build them is going to depend on the quality of your gear. These heroes are by far the most gear dependent. In the early game, you'll want to stick to the golden rule of initiative boots, speed legs. Then you'll want crit rate on your helm and your gloves. If the epic Aru weapon Heka remains unchanged from the alpha, this weapon is premium for damage dealers in the early and mid game. At the time of this recording, it reads, gain 10% of your current HP as attack. What this weapon allows you to do is stack HP for survivability and you still gain damage. If you have this weapon available to you, use it and lean on it for progression. Go for HP on your chest and HP percentage on your shoulders. This will maximize your damage and survivability. If you're looking for an endgame Slayer build, or if Heka was adjusted after the alpha phase, I would recommend the following guidelines. Attack percentage on the boots and the chest piece, crit damage on the gloves and the shoulders, speed on the leg armor, and then finally for the helmet, if you're shy on crit rate, you could find that on your helmet. If not, and your hero needs accuracy to land debuffs in their kit, go for accuracy. If you need neither accuracy and you already have 100% crit rate, you can go for initiative as the main stat on your helmet to gain ultimate charge faster. Alright, next we're going to talk about Brawlers. A Brawler's key function is to keep themselves alive while also putting out a respectable amount of damage. We're going to stick to the golden rule of initiative on the boots and speed on the leggings. Next, you'll want HP percentage on the chest armor and either HP percentage on the shoulders or crit damage. Crit damage will scale your damage more, but HP percentage will still contribute to your damage while simultaneously contributing to your survivability. If you decided to go for crit damage on the shoulders, I would recommend crit rate on the gloves. If you can get 100% crit rate from amongst the rest of your gear, you can go for crit damage on your gloves instead. If you don't have much crit rate or crit damage in your build, and you need accuracy to land debuffs, gloves are a great place to find accuracy. If you want to go all-out damage build on your brawlers, and you're shy on crit rate, your helm is a great place to supplement that. Or if you favor getting your accuracy up to land their debuffs, once again, the helm slot is a great place to find more accuracy. If you don't need the crit rate or the accuracy on your brawler, my recommendation would be to go for the initiative to maximize your ultimate gains. Now let's talk about defenders. Their job is to be your team's shield, to protect and keep your squishy little slayers alive. Once again, we refer to the golden rule of speed on the legs and initiative on the boots. From there, I recommend defense on the chest and on the shoulders. If your defender needs accuracy to land debuffs, then gloves are a great place for that. If they don't, you can go for flat defense or flat HP for more survivability. Or you can go for crit rate to get your crit chance up. If you already have 100% crit rate from amongst your other gear, you can also consider crit damage as the primary stat for your gloves. Then finally your helm. Again, if you need accuracy, this is a great place to find it, especially if you went for damage on the gloves. If you do not need accuracy, then I recommend initiative on your helmet for more ultimate gains. Last but not least, we have the Invokers. I saved this category for last because there seems to be two types of Invokers, and some are even hybrids of each. Type 1 are the pure healers. These heroes generally offer heals and or shields based off their own max HP. When you read your hero's abilities, if you see they grant healing based off their own max HP, then you're going to want HP percentage on the chest and the shoulders to maximize their healing output. The next thing you want to identify is, what do you value most from this hero? Do you want more speed to take more turns, more initiative for more ultimates, or HP to maximize their healing output? If you have the need for speed, you can go speed on the legs and on the boots, especially if you took initiative on the helm. If more ultimates is what you want, you can go initiative on the helm and on the boots. Or if you just want to maximize their survivability and healing, you can go with initiative on the helm, HP on the legs, and speed on your boots. The second type of invoker is the speed booster. With these heroes, the number one thing you care about is speed, and initiative as a close second, especially if their ult does turn meter boosts or speed buffs. For these heroes, HP and defense are great options for the chest, shoulders, and gloves, even if their only flat stat is their main stats. The key factor is, does the piece of gear have speed and or initiative in the substat rolls? If it does, that's great. These heroes are going to want speed on the boots and on the legs, and typically initiative on the helmet. If your invoker has elements of both healing and turn meter boosts in their kit, follow the path of the turn meter booster, but be a little more strict with what you choose for your main stats on the chest and shoulders. If you can, go for HP percentage. If you need accuracy, gloves are a great place for that. If you need more accuracy, as in your debuffs are getting resisted and these debuffs are rather important to the fight, you can sacrifice initiative on the helmet to gain more accuracy there instead. If you go that route, you may consider swapping speed boots for initiative boots, if you find that you're not getting your ultimate quickly enough to be effective in battle. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. If you found this guide helpful, please do me a huge favor and hit the like button. I spent a lot of time on it trying to make a good guide for you guys. And if you'd like to see more of my content, consider subscribing. And if for some reason you still have some questions about how to gear your champions, feel free to join my community Discord. I'll have a link to that in the description down below, as well as a pinned comment. I'd love to see you there. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll see you all in another video soon, but until next time, everyone, take care.